Today, I just want to talk about one of my favorite bands, my number one favorite band since I was six growing up, and I still listen to them, is My Chemical Romance. And with how I'll describe them, in my opinion, since this band, to me, never overstayed their welcome because they came and left at a perfect time. They had three studio release albums at the time, which was Bullets, Sweet Revenge, and Black Parade. No, four actually. I mean, Black Parade and Killjoys, or Danger Days. True Lives of Fabulous Killjoys. And after that, 2013 came along, and then they released their unreleased music of Conventional Weapons, which was in between Black Parade era and the Danger Days era. And then in 2022, they gave us a song called Foundations of Decay. But this band pretty much came, kicked ass with their music, and then left at a perfect time. They didn't overstay their welcome like some other bands do that were around this time. They just kept producing more and more music and just got watered down and kind of went to like a corporate plant. And what's crazy too is these guys are like a whole bunch of misfits mashups that just randomly combined into like one massive band. Because originally it was just Gerard Way and Ray Toro, and then Matt Policier, and then later I think he got his brother Mikey Way in to be a bassist, and then the last person I believe, I could be wrong about this, but since I haven't watched any of their videos in a long time, all their compilations of stuff on YouTube that's now 16 years old and whatnot, and then Frank Iero, well I believe was the last one because he was already in a band at the time called Pensy Prep. And I didn't really listen to Pensy Prep that much. I do like Frank Iero's solo projects. And yeah, each of these guys, I haven't really heard of Matt Police. I have heard of one of Matt Policier's stuff, and Matt Policier's drumming, you'll know it because it's like that stuff, like how you'll hear in the Bullets and then in some of the Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge era. Because halfway through Sweet Revenge, Bob Breyer joined the band. So he was in one whole album. So Matt Policier was in one whole album and half of one. Bob Breyer comes in for the other half and then for one whole one, which is the Black Parade, and then left kind of after that. But anyways, the way I'll describe it is like the origin story to the song Na 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 is that these so 9/11 happens and then a year later from like the rumble and ashes of the building, angels from Neon and Garbage come out and brought rock, basically. Because out of like all the emo music at the time, which I don't know what it is since I'm more into the goth scene, if you watch my other video, I explained it. But these guys sound completely different with Jordway's vocals. Like all their vocals, like unison, it just sounds way different because you listen to Green Day and then if you listen to I think Fallout Boy, you got that not twink, but that sound, where it's like pop punk crap stuff. I'm not a fan of that, like Blink 182 and Weezer, and I just can't get into that type of music. It's like nerd stuff to me. But these guys didn't sound nerdy. Like Gerard Way, especially in the Black Parade era, how he looked, it just reminded me of some people I was growing up around where they were street smart. They were chill people, but street smart at the same time. So yeah, whenever they first came, that's how I describe them. Is since they never say they're welcome, all their albums, I want to say the first four or five conventional weapons were all pretty decent, were pretty good. They didn't overstay their welcome. They put out bangers. And if I were to make like a tier, of course, Black Parade would have to be at the top because that's a beautiful rock opera. And then the other ones kind of jump around because sometimes if you're feeling like just want to be punk, post punk, then you might want to listen to Bullets more since it has that kind of like a mosh pit feel to it. And that's what's cool about each of their albums is that This one is more post-punk, semi-emo. I mean, emo does tend to lean towards more the hard punk stuff, hardcore punk, than the Origins, at least to me, why I think of it. And then their second album, Three Cheers, leans towards more the pop punk kind of stuff, but it still sounds so different with Gerard Way's vocals and their guitar. It's like rock. They brought like 80s, like 70s, 80s rock guitars into their stuff, especially in the song "Bury Me Black." That sounds exactly like a Metallica, like the intro to it, how the guitar starts up, which is a bonus song to this. But just how it like starts, it's like it just reminds me of like that early metal because every other band at the time was going for that punk. These guys incorporated metal. You could even hear it in their Bullets album too. You could hear the metal in it as well, which is pretty cool. And of course, the Black Parade is also sounds different because that just went straight to rock and roll basically, not like your Elvis kind of rock. Well, no, I'll say more kind of Queens in a way, where it's just like theatrical. Like the first song, "The End," reminds me of Pink Floyd. Um, uh, Shoot, I forgot what the first intro song is in Pink Floyd called. I think um, "In the Flesh." Just with how the guitars sound in The End from Michael Romance reminds me of "In the Flesh" by Pink Floyd with it. And it's just beautiful. Sounds each of their albums you could tell which song was on which album because they all sounded so different at the time. And I grew up with people that looked like this, um, especially my one classmate's older brother and my mom's friend's son. I forgot his name, but he was in a marching band and he had like I won't say blonder hair than that, but all their eyes were like that dark shadow under it. Not sleep deprived, but you know how some people just naturally have it like that without the makeup. So yeah, so this would always be my like comfort one, just because I grew up with people that look like this basically. And then you had your Danger Days era, which also put out some banger summer music, even though they have never released a summer album at all, which is like a joke within the community. And I know if you're like an old fan of them, like from the start, you're called like the MC Army. And then the people who got into it like in the tens were called the Killjoys, from what I heard. But yeah, I've been listening to the Black Parade since kindergarten, and I always do it every year. Sometimes where I'll play all their songs in order from like a Spotify thing. But my biggest fear is though, it's all these songs now. Is you could say, oh, they were kind of political. The first album was different ways of how they were killing their girlfriend, basically, is from whatever I read. But if you actually piece it, like, say, if you want like a whole story in my head, is that the first album is about like, say, two lovers that are, say, if Chucky and the Bride of Chucky, right? I forgot what Chucky's actually, yeah, his name is like Chuck something or whatever it is. So yeah, Chucky as a human with, I'm forgetting what the blonde lady's name is. Oh well. So the blonde lady. So say if they're human, that's what these people were, in my opinion. The first album was like that, like a Chucky and the Bride of Chucky kind of love relationship where they get killed at the end in Demolition Lovers, that song. Then I want to say that somehow the guy survived, and then the wife actually died, and he's like there in like his own pool of blood, and then he sees like the hearse, and he's like secretly watching her funeral from a distance, and then makes a deal with the devil to bring her back to life, basically. And that's what this album is about. It's about how he's doing all these murders just to bring Helena back. So in my own head canon, this is the same person from this, and then at the end of this, he finally does it, but then he realizes that the last person he has to kill is himself as part of the deal. So since he made a deal with the devil, there's always a trick to it. So he does kill himself, and she does come back to life in the mortal one. And then he is now a fan. If you listen to like the bonus feature of it, Bury Me in Black, it's now him been like, say, doing a poltergeist to his girlfriend, saying, "Hey, I killed to bring you back to life. Why have you been ignoring me? Blah blah blah. So I'm coming back to bring you to the grave with me." Well, somehow this is just my own headcanon. Well, somehow let's say he does come back from the dead, but the irony to that is now he's got cancer. So now he's in this song is the same killer, but now that he's got cancer and all that, he's kind of reflecting on his life, especially with the song Sleep, how the lyrics is, and I don't feel bad about it for what I did, and I don't feel bad about it. So why don't you cry? Or this that whole lyrics in that song is kind of deeper. If you, at least to me, it is. Whenever I think about it this way, that it's the same two killers. All right, now the girl killer's dead, but somehow he survives. So then he starts killing more people to bring her back, and instead she comes back, and but now he's in hell because he was the last person that he had to kill. And then somehow he escapes hell, meets up with the girl, but then just hearing all the awful, like, she say she had some revelation like, oh yeah, we were kind of piece of shit, and I can't believe you did all that just to bring me back. And then now he's dying with cancer, and he's pretty much just saying, how could you cry for me, because I don't feel bad about it for all the things I did, basically. And then so he finally dies and passes away from cancer, whatever, in my own head canon. And then this whole thing's its own thing to me. And yeah, so I like this one. This one I'll say, if you want to say it's political, this one I guess you could probably say is the most political one, because it's very tongue in cheek with its politics too. Because you have a city called Battery City where everything is given to you. You have like all the safety, kind of like the way YouTube and censorship and all that stuff is going right now with YouTube and video games and just in general with everything on social media. That's Battery City, right? Or you could be the killjoys that are living in their danger days, that live outside this cushy bubble wrap city of, say, soccer moms and just being oversensitive stuff, like over censorships as well. So that's Battery City's over censorship. Or you could be a killjoy, live outside of it. Yes, it's more dangerous because you have no bubble wrapping protecting you at all. But as long as you got street smarts and you got common sense, you'll survive in the world. And that's what this album is to me for it, where it's like, you know, F censorship, F whatever government, politics and all that. Just you're living like full on anarchy where at any moment you could be shot and killed, but you're like free, 100% free, and you know the risks and the dangers of being outside of Battery City. And then after this, they pretty much disappeared. And then in 2013, they released their unconventional or conventional weapons, which was in between the Black Parade era and this era. And you could definitely hear it in their songs how it has like the song Boy Division has heavy Black Parade feels to it, but then like the pop, I was in this one's music is not classic rock. I don't know, just like summer, just like easy rock vibes, I guess. I don't really know how to describe this one that much since it's like very mellow with their songs. Some of their songs are like still pop punk. I'll say it's like I don't know. It's hard to describe because you got Party Poison, which is like it's just a rock. I guess that's how I'll just describe it. It's just rock. It's neither. It's like it's undefined. But yeah. So then you got some songs that are going to that summer, uh, like Arctic Monkeys or the Black Keys. That I forgot what those kind of bands are called. But I used to like some of their stuff, but not Black Keys per se, but like the indie, I guess. I guess you call it indie sounding. I don't know. It just sounds completely different, and it's just generic sounding, but good at the same time. But my fear with them returning, and let me just go ahead and go over Foundations of Decay is a pretty good song too because it reminds me of just like a ghost going through post 9/11, uh, down where the towers fell basically. Like you're a phantom and you're just seeing it, and then you getting like a different perspective of how civilization is going to rebuild from that damage. My fear is if they do return, if it's going to be, say, super political with it. But I don't think so. This looks kind of cool. I watched the trailer and I am excited for it because they're bringing back the Black Parade, but now it's under like a dictatorship from what it was looking like. Because first you had this whole thing where they're like coming for this person that's dying basically because per the story of the music video, at least not my headcanon, but the music video is like this is the guy's favorite memory, so this is how he imagined how death will come for him. But now all of a sudden you got the afterworld has a dictatorship now, per what the YouTube video showed on it, and this looks fun in my opinion. Like even if I hope it's like a tongue-in-cheek politics, like how I wish this would load in better. I hope it's tongue-in-cheek politics, like how Danger Days is. And like I said, I've been a fan since being a child, and I'm not one of those that are like, oh my god, he wore a skirt on stage. It's like, no, if you watch the music video to, uh, son of a bitch, it's the one, it's in the Three Cheers of, uh, I'm Not Okay. That's the song. Sorry, I just got so many other songs in my head that's spinning around. If you watch I'm Not Okay, you literally see, I think it's either Frank or Gerard. One of them kisses each other. Like the one's kissing the other one on the cheek, or at least like near the lips area. So it's like it's been prevalent. That's kind of that fun, flamboyant, especially on the. If you've never seen the Danger Days stuff live, this is not. This is like his full-on stripper era, I would say. Like, let me find that one picture. But yeah, this is like his full-on stripper era, especially on stage. If you ever watched any of these YouTube live on on YouTube, you'll see that it is normal on their live performances. Now, here's the one I was talking about with it. But I will say though that seeing him in a skirt is kind of different because he still has like masculinity with some femininity. Like there's a healthy balance on there, right? So it I will say it's just something new to me, but it's something that I'm fine with since that's how they always kind of present, at least Gerard Way and especially Frank Iero on stages have, at least from the live videos I've seen, has always presented themselves to be like. And what's cool is anytime that these guys have like coming back thing, they never age. They de-age because if you look at Gerard Way during 2019, whenever he was talking about his Umbrella Academy for Netflix, he looked completely different, like completely different. Like I'll say like double chin, full on like a beard going. But then anytime that these guys have a reunion, the rock gods bless them with youth again. And that's just what's kind of cool is for the time you had only 4 CD releases and all of them were bops basically. And the reason why they stopped after this one is just due to the pressure of how awesome the Black Parade was. Just because that's a staple for any emo thing. House is got to be the Black Parade, My Chemical Romance era stuff. But yeah, it's like even I'll say 21 Pilots. I hate them. I don't like any emo music. This is as far as I'll go. Midwest emo. I actually that all right. So that is my guilty pleasure. Is that Midwest emo music is. But like as far as like say mainstream ones like Fall Out Boy, 21 Pilots, I don't know any other ones. These guys I'll say is the only time I'll dip my little tootsies into the emo waters, basically. Otherwise, I'm more into like the dark wave stuff. And like I said, these guys have more metal inspiration and punk as well because they do like Misfits. And Misfits, Dan Zig has his own band, which is like a goth metal, goth rock, whatever you want to call it. All right, it's goth either way because of how his voice is. So these guys like Misfits too, so they already kind of lean more towards say gothic and post-punk era is goth, and then the hardcore post-punk is more towards emo. And even though this leads towards the more hardcore post-punk sound, it still has that metal sound. But this is why I call them like a gray area between emo and goth. It's just because their voice and their lyrics is just so different, especially instrumental like in um, Sharpest Lives. Just that guitar, that part, like after he gets done with like the first chorus, where it's like Juliet. Um, I'm forgetting the lyrics because I'm just like excited for other new stuff, but it's that weird little vein. Like that's how I picture it in the guitar for it. It's just like a little vein being plucked for that song, Sharpest Lives. It just sounds so unique. But I'm just hoping that this is going to be kind of tongue in cheek. Now, Frank Iero, he is. I want to say he is the one for more of the edgier kind of stuff. Because if you actually listen to his solo project stuff, because I have listened to all their stuff, Ray Toro's I haven't really actually. Not going to be honest, but I remember those song called "Remember the Laughter," and his stuff seems more like easy rock, from what I heard. His stuff is more techno, British pop, which is these two are the main ones I like, but I love Frank Iero's solo stuff, mainly his Death Spells, and I actually have two CDs of his Leathermouth one. So as far as the ones that I could see being way more political, is definitely Frank Iero because he has a song literally called "I'm Going to Kill the President of the United States of America." And if you want to know whoever creates all the longest titles, is definitely Frank Iero. He's the ideas for the person who puts the longest title. So if you ever see that's just my theory, because if you look at his solo project stuff, all of his titles are long, especially in Leathermouth. Like this song is about being attacked by monsters. That's literally a song, and that's probably one of my favorite songs by Frank Arrows on the Leathermouth stuff. And then you also have, I think it's called Leviathan as well. It's the last song, and I know there's this other hidden song too. Um, that you only can find on YouTube. At least I only found on YouTube. I don't think it's on the CD at all. I know it's not. But his stuff I could see being a bit more political, but with this and the way that they were doing with the crowd, how they had these people up on stage. I'm assuming it was these people on stage, and these were the guys who are executed, but now they're like in the black parade. I don't know. Just seeing how you got the cards for yay or nay with it. And yeah, I just think that's cool how he hasn't really aged at all, in my opinion. I mean, you can kind of see aging. I'm not gonna lie, I do see aging, but he still looks way better than whenever we saw him in 2019. I don't know. I guess they do this thing where they exercise and get in shape once they start going on like touring again. But yeah, so going back to this stuff and how people are like, oh my god, they're so queer and gay now. It's, eh. He literally looks like the lead singer from the Cranberries, right here. So I'll say to people that are complaining, oh my god, they're so woke. It's in your head that they are, okay? Because if you never watched their music videos and seen his mannerisms or how he like moves on stage, it is kind of flamboyant with it. I mean, I don't get how people are like, "Oh my God, why?" But yeah, so I'm excited and nervous at the same time because I don't want it to be like super political with it. Like Frank Iero's song, "I'm Gonna Kill the President of the United States." of America, that song could go both ways. Like whatever party, so say last uh, the last election you didn't like that president, you could play that song. This year, if you don't like this election, you don't like this president, you could play that song. So at least if it is, I hope it's kind of neutral where it could be played for both parties, basically. But going back to more tongue-in-cheek stuff is definitely the Danger Days era. So I hope it just gets like that where it still has like a concept, a story, which it looks like it is going to have a concept of it, especially with this opening intro, because I, we have gotten music videos before. Because all right, let me tell you about music video too. So the Black Parade era, the song "The Black Parade," "Welcome to the Black Parade," was actually filmed by the same guy who did Boulevard of Broken Dreams for Green Day, same producer who filmed it. So that's kind of cool. You watched both music videos. Tell me who you think spent more on music production on their videos than. So yeah, so that's what another thing that kind of kicks that My Chemical Romance kicks Green Day's ass is the music video too, because the one you just got like weird for the Green Day one, semi-editing stuff. It's just a dude walking with like shadow and then other band members walking beside. These guys have actual rock bands floats and confetti, and then the song Famous Last Words, they burn the float, and it's pretty awesome. And this is kind of getting me hyped. This reminds me of Pink Floyd in the Flesh era stuff, and especially if they do another sound like the song "The End" for like an intro of this, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be another great rock opera era. However, MCR going more towards this, say, Russian Rammstein look is also kind of interesting as well. So you got this German, Russian, very like, it's like a weird dictatorship thing, almost like Battery City in a way. So this is going to be kind of exciting. So I wonder if this is going to be like, say, the predecessor to Battery City, to how the Scarecrows got formed. And I'm excited and nervous at the same time. Now I know there's probably gonna be one person comments like, "Oh my God, like politics, emo and punk, this stuff was started by politics." Like, shut the fuck up, all right? Like I said, I'm goth. I don't care for politics. That's why I loved all their albums, even Foundation Decay. And if there was politics in it, it's very tongue-in-cheek, not like say Mike or Frank Arrow stuff where it's literally called "I'm going to kill the president of the United States of America," where it's like explicit like that. However, with that song at least, it's neutral with the lyrics. That could go both sides with it. Plus, there's not really a music video either, besides him back in '08 or '09 at a skate punk festival where he's wearing a camouflage jacket with his hair about this length, probably down more towards his nose. Frank Arrow was playing. So I just hope it's like, if it is, I hope it's like tongue in cheek, a fun political thing, like a good story as well, and not one that's like trying to, like, yeah, I understand if it is saying like even to like say modern day stuff, but I hope it's like a fun one that's like escapism, where it's like, yeah, some of the stuff is in our world, but at least it's not as bad as, or as bad as the exaggeration's going to show, like the Battery City. I mean, we're kind of, at least with the censorship part and stuff, we're kind of getting there with the Battery City part, and then having the Scarecrows come down on you with the censorship. Yeah, we're kind of entering that, so I'm excited to see what this one has as well, because these guys have not outstayed their welcome at all with it, because they were here, they were queer, and then they left basically, and then they returned in 2022 with Foundation, with a solo ep, with just a 7-incher, right? They returned with just a 7-incher and left, and now they're coming back with Long Live the Black Parade after their 2008 tour called The Black Parade is Dead. is going to be crazy. So I wonder if this is a predecessor to it, like the origins of the Black Parade. Even though that the original story was that it's this guy's dream, whenever he's dying, that's how death came to him. I wonder if they're now building like a world thing, which would be so cool to see. And especially since the cover art to the Black Parade it talks about war too, because in the song Mama it talks about this guy who like pretty much got blown up and stuff. How he just got like not yeah, he pretty much did get blown up because he said what they did to my legs, to my ton. But yeah, so it's like I wonder if we're going to see this war happen basically with the, and I love the vampire too. So you got pigs, and then you got Vampire the Cancer Patient, and then the leader of the Black Parade as a skeleton. So this is going. I'm actually excited for this because if you got like the double case where the back of this, it shows him with arrows in him on the back of the case. Let me see if I can find that real quick. MCR Black Parade. Yep, here it is. So I wonder, it's going to be pretty cool if it's going to say this is going to be the first in its own subgenre. This is going to be the first thing of the Black Parade, and then Foundations of Decay. Oh, and then Foundations of Decay after say the war is over, and then the Black Parade as like the final thing, because in the music video for the Welcome to the Black Parade, it's like post-apocalyptic. Like you got ashes in the air, you got you got not zeppelins, you got blimps in the air, and it's just very, very cool. With it, I'm trying to get a good picture of the blimps. It's like where it's all zoomed out. But yeah, see, you got like this, like Foundations of Decay, basically. So you have Long Live the Black Parade is probably going to be the first. So in this whole thing's origin story, it's probably going to be the first thing, and then it's going to be Foundation of Decay, and then this is the aftermath. This is the Black Parade, and it is dead. So it's kind of like going backwards. It's kind of like watching Star Wars 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. At least what my headcanon is thinking, which is going to make it so fun. Yeah. So yeah, there. So see, some politics and whatnot. That's fine. I'm hoping it. I don't care how it's going to be. I'm just excited to see how it's going to be. I just hope it's not going to be a disappointment where it's like, yeah, this was trash. This because like Korn, I'll say is my second favorite band, and they're kind of overstaying their welcome. Like I want to say 2016, the Serenity of Suffering was their last good album, and then the Nothing. It just kind of got repetitive because Jonathan Davis, all of his songs, or at least there's one song that always says they're raping the child within me, and that just kind of gets bland. And then their other album, Requiem, I can't tell you what songs I listened to, but it just sounds the same. It's like, I like the guys a lot, and I'm glad that Jonathan Davis and all of them are still like pushing out music. Head, um, Brian Welsh, Head. I'm glad that they're still pumping out music, but it's like it's kind of, at least for me, it's overstaying its welcome. Like I'm still a fan of them. I'm just not gonna buy their new albums, even though I do have Requiem and the Nothing because I like to support them. It's just I'm not gonna listen to them because those albums at least because their first stuff, it was new, it was original, and the lyrics had were all different, and now they're just kind of repeating the same thing for. You've been saying the same thing now since '93, so it's going on to say 30 years now, and you're still like, you know, it's kind of like you're overstaying your welcome. Just like my video right now, I'm repeating myself over and over, and I'm overstaying my welcome with that. But these guys, it's like only 4 albums, one I release, one 7-inch, and then a new song. I haven't really listened to it yet, even though It's on a it's it was from a YouTube of their live tour that they did this year. Is their new song that's unreleased, and it's like a teaser for their next stuff. So this will be pretty cool, seeing how it all ties in. It'll be pretty cool seeing how it all ties in. Where you got Long Live the Black Parade, bam, some apocalyptic shit happens, Foundations of Decay hits, and then now it's just the Black Parade, and then from there it could possibly become Battery City. Like after this whole fallout, maybe this is Battery City, and then they like this is the before Battery City. Whatever dictator comes in that makes the Scarecrow Corporation and the zombie gorilla vampires turn this mess into Battery City as we know it. So it probably goes 2025 to Foundations of Decay to Black Parade, then to this. It probably all could possibly tie into each other like that if they wanted to, which I'm excited to see. Yeah, there's the Scarecrow. It's such a yeah, even that right there, like even the fan art of the time. Like, how could you be like, oh my god, they're queer, they're gay? It's like, they're out there having fun, being flamboyant, being rock stars, basically. So, yeah, that's all I just want to say. And don't stand in the sun too long. Turn you into a ball of fire. See ya.